Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Phoebe and on this channel I share a lot on sewing, style and fashion. So during the early stages of my sewing career, I faced a lot of challenges, probably because I did not have the right tools or the right knowledge on how to go about these things. I was able to overcome all these barriers on my own because of the research that I made. So if you're a beginner and you're watching this video, you are the right place because I've got you. So the first thing you need as a beginner when starting a sewing career is a sewing machine. It is very important because how else would you practice what you learn if you don't have a sewing machine? So you can either have a domestic tabletop sewing machine or a manual blackhead sewing machine or an industrial sewing machine. So it all depends on what you have available. Now, number two, you would need your fabric. So I have this black fabric here. Is a plain fabric, so you can work with anything you have. It can be maybe an Ankara fabric or a colored fabric, anything, because how else will you practice your projects if you don't have fabrics? So the next thing you would need is your pins. So these are the type of pins that I like to use because they are long and also because of their colors, it is easy for me to see them. Now, making use of pins make your sewing project to come out perfect because when you pin your pieces of fabric together, it is easy for you to sew your garments and they come out well aligned. So as a pattern drafter, one of the things that helped me when learning how to draft patterns is my pattern paper. So I have this brown pattern paper here. If you have a white pattern paper, that's fine. You can work with it. And you would also need maybe a marker or pen, but for me I have this marker here. They are permanent marker. I like to make use of permanent marker because they last longer than the non-permanent marker. So this is my notebook and this is my pen. So I like to take notes of things or maybe measurements or whatever it is that I've learned new. I like to write them down. Make sure you put them down because they're very important. So this is what a tracing wheel looks like. It helps to transfer your markings on pattern papers. You would also need your measuring tape. So I have this measuring tape here. You would also need your seam ripper. So this is what a seam ripper looks like. Like the name implies, seam ripper, it helps to rip off seams, that is places that you've sewn that you would like to use. This would help you to, very important, threads. So I have these two color of threads, pink and blue. So without threads, I don't know how you're sewing your pieces of fabrics to come together. Needle, sewing needle for your sewing machine. So because I use the blackhead sewing machine, I make use of this needle. So I have HA needle here, which is for sewing stretchy fabrics. Why this one here is just the standard sewing machine needle for the type of machine that I make use of. So I have this two color of chalk here. They're very important so that you can mark out the lines when you're transferring your pattern to fabric, or if you're cutting directly on your fabric. That is, if you're used to freehand and you're cutting directly on your fabric, you need chalk. So this is normal school chalk. Standard tailor's chalk are sold in the market, so buy it if that is what would work for you. But I like to mix school chalk and tailor's chalk from time to time. You would need zippers. So this is what the zipper looks like. So I have two colors here, blue and coral. Now the next thing, which is one of my favorite thing when it comes to sewing, is the hemming gum or the hemming tape. God, I love this thing so much because it helps my edges, my neckline. It makes everything comes out perfect. And in order for you to activate this, you need to make use of your iron. So this brings us to the next thing that you need, your iron. My God, I love to iron. When you ask me, one of the things that I enjoy when it comes to sewing is ironing, because I love to see all those rumpled parts of clothes come out straight and looking clean. So this and my iron are one of my favorite things when it comes to sewing. Electric iron. But if you use a charcoal iron, because here in Nigeria, NEPA, electricity is a problem. If you use charcoal iron, that's fine. But I use electric iron, and with this, I'm good to go. So the next thing you would need if you are a pattern drafter is your ruler. So this is the ruler I've been using for most of my tutorials here. So you can see the color of my markers because I'm a pattern drafter. Come on, I love pattern drafting. And I also know how to sew freehand. I combine the both of them, okay, from time to time. If I need to make use of freehand, that's fine. If I need to make use of pattern drafting, I make use of my ruler. So now, when I started sewing and I was yet to have a sewing machine, one of the things that helped me was my hand needle. A hand needle. So I would just pass my thread to my hand needle and start sewing. I mean, if I was trying to learn something and there was no sewing machine, I need to put these pieces together and then try it on to see maybe I'm making progress or I'm not. So sewing with my hand helped me, and I noticed that the stitches that you make with your hand needle is actually stronger than that of a sewing machine, but that of a sewing machine is actually more neater and more durable. So whatever works for you is fine. I think that's basically it for now. That's all I have for all the sewing tools that you need to kickstart your sewing career. I know there are more, but if there's anything I skipped in this video, please pardon me. I make mistakes, but that's just part of life. So I wanted to mention that when you have a sewing machine, be it a tabletop or a manual machine or electrical or an industrial machine, now the speed of these three types of machine are very different. Now, an industrial sewing machine is much faster and much durable compared to that of a domestic sewing machine and a manual blackhead sewing machine. The first time I learned to use an industrial sewing machine was when I worked in a sewing factory where we make ready-to-wear clothes here in Nigeria. So that was the first time I learned how to use an industrial sewing machine, and it was very fast. Sometimes I would just step on the pedal and it starts moving and I'm like, oh, I was confused, but with time I got used to it. So now, if you bring a manual sewing machine here and an industrial sewing machine here for me, I would go or I would stick with the industrial sewing machine because it is fast, it is durable, and it is sweet. But still, if you have a domestic sewing machine, if you have a manual sewing machine, that is fine. Work with what you have. At the end of the day, we are all trying to achieve one goal. Then maybe as you progress, you can upgrade if you have the money. So that's all I have for you guys in this video. If you're a beginner, I hope this video has helped you. And please don't forget to subscribe to this channel if you haven't. Turn on post notification for my next video if you haven't. And I will see you all in my next video. Bye guys.